Hey guys, Mrs. Traver here. We're going to work through this week on volume of triangular prisms for our first video. Last week we worked on volume of rectangular prisms, and they're very similar. Matter of fact, the volume of all prisms is going to be the same formula, which is really nice. So volume of all prisms is going to be that formula we use, V equals BH. And one thing that's different, obviously, is it's a triangular prism, not a rectangular prism. So the B, if you remember, stood for, remember, it's a capital B. It stood for the area of the base. And what's changed here is it's no longer a rectangular base, it's a triangular base. So our area formula for triangular bases is the area of a triangle, which is 1/2 times base times height. Some of you use base height divided by 2, totally fine as well. And then that H over here in the formula stands for the height of the prism. So that's the same as last week. And it will be the same next week. So this is the formula we're using, that V equals BH. Again, the only thing that changed literally is that we're throwing a 1/2 in there. Because last week it was length width, so to speak, and this week it's base height, same thing. And the 1/2 popped in. So let's jump in, example 1, see how it goes. Let's see. We've got this triangular prism, and I think it's a good practice to remind ourselves the formula to start off so we know our checklist of what we need. And the first thing there is we need the base. Let's recognize that. I like that you guys were highlighting them in your work that you emailed. That looked really good. I think that's helpful. When you're doing these problems out at home, I don't think it's necessary to redraw the whole thing. Matter of fact, I would just redraw the base piece, which is kind of nice. So I'm talking about this triangle here, and I notice it's a right triangle from that little red mark. So let's redraw a right triangle. That's my base. It had a height of 3, same height here, and a base of 4, same as down there. And then that hypotenuse was 5. So we just need the area of this triangle. And again, we said that the base area is 1/2 base height. So we've got base 4, height 3. We don't even need the 5, actually. That hypotenuse is not necessary for us when we're doing volume. We will use it for surface area, but right now, don't care. So 1/2 times 4 times 3. 4 times 3 is 12. Half of 12 is 6. So B equals 6. Done with B. H is the height of the prism. So looking at my triangle that I've got here compared to the other triangle, they are this far apart, which is 2. So height is 2. So I've got volume equals area of the base, which was 6, times the height, which was 2. So volume equals 12. And we're going to use the same units as last time. This is one of our success criteria pieces this week, so you can use proper units. All volume is in cubed units. So we started with feet. It's going to be feet cubed. To really reiterate this point, though, I want to mention and kind of walk this problem back from the start. Way back when we started, we did 4 times 3. And this was 4 feet times 3 feet. So feet times feet, which feet times feet is feet squared. So this 6 was in feet squared. The 6 was in feet squared. The 2 just had regular feet. Feet squared times feet is feet cubed. So that's kind of where that's coming from. Watch out for it. When you're typing it in the form, that's another thing that we were struggling on. Let me show you real quick how to type this in. So say number 1's answer was 12 feet cubed, which different problem on the assignment, but you get my idea. So different problem. But say we were trying to put in 12 feet cubed. 12 feet cubed. You've got some options. I put instructions up here for you for numbers 1 through 9. Write answers with proper units. For example, to write 5 centimeters cubed, either write it with superscript, that's this, which if you're cool, you can copy and paste it. Or, totally fine, write it like this. It says there's no space between the unit and the 3. So I'm talking about right here, in between the unit, centimeters, and the 3. No space here. I did put spaces here, though. So some of you were getting the right answer, 12 feet cubed. We were typing it like this, without any spaces whatsoever. That looks scrunched and weird. There's always a space here. There is not a space in between the feet and the cubed to show that they go together. So again, either write it like this, or if you're cool, you can copy and paste it like that, and then this goes in for your answer. I suggest when you're working through the homeworks that you try a couple, scroll down, submit, view your score, try a couple more, scroll down, submit, view your score. You can do that as many times as you want. But I just wanted to mention the units because some of us were struggling on that. Okay, back to our problems. Example 2. So here we go. This one looks a little bit different. What's different about this one is that we've got, it kind of rotated a little bit differently. So comparing to the first and the second, this one was kind of spun. This one's kind of sitting right on its base. So regardless, if we can recognize it's a triangular base, then we're good to go. And I can see that triangle right here. It is again a right triangle, so that's going to be helpful for us. So let's try with that formula. Again, we had V equals area of the base times the height. And our base is a right triangle, once again, with base is 6, and height is down here too, 8. And again, we don't even need the hypotenuse, so I'm just not going to write it in. Area of that base is 1/2 base height. So 1/2, the base is 6. The height is 8. 1/2 of 6 is 3. 3 times 8 is 24. So B equals 24. And I've got the first piece. My height is right there, 12. So volume equals 24 times 12. Well, let's see, what do we get? 24 by 12 is, there it goes, 288. So 288. And we're talking yards cubed. Beautiful. All right, my next one is the kind without a picture. So let's see if we can kind of visualize this ourselves. I can get it all on screen at once. There we go. A 10-meter tall prism. Well, let me stop right there. 10-meter tall. I think they just told me height. Height equals 10. Okay. A 10-meter tall prism with a right triangle for a base. Ooh, pausing again. Right triangle for a base. So I'm going to draw a right triangle. With sides 5, 12, and 13. 5, 12, and 13. Okay. I know something about right triangles. I can't just fill these numbers in any places. For example, I can't put the 5 here. It's the hypotenuse, and the hypotenuse has to be the longest side. So that must be the 13. 5 and the 12, I don't really care which place you put them in. Mine is not to scale, but I'm going to make the 12 as the little bit longer base. So let's see. We've got to find the area of this base we know. So we'll need V equals BH. We already have H, just missing the B. So area of the base, 1/2 base height. So 1/2, 12 times 5. 12 times 5 is 60. Half of 60 is 30. So we've got base area 30 and height 10, volume of 300. And we were talking about meters, so meters cubed. All right, all these look good so far. I think I should throw you a wrench at this point. Here's a different looking problem. From first glance, looks pretty normal, but there's something fairly different about this problem than the rest. When we look at our base, which is still a triangle, that hasn't changed. I haven't changed shapes on you, or solids, I should say. But what's different about this guy is it's missing something that the other ones had. It is not a right triangle, which sometimes throws people. So when I'm talking about redrawing this picture, which I'm going to do down here, be wary that you don't fill this in to be a right triangle. It's not. It has a side length of 5 and a side length of 10. And then this last side length down here is 12. But the height of it, it's actually shown on the bottom base a little bit better. The height here is 4.1. So again, this is not a right triangle. Don't get fooled by that. So when we find our area, 1/2 base height, we've got the base that's sitting on here and the height that they gave us. And we don't even need this 5 and 10. So I can kind of just ignore both of those. We will need those later when we do surface area, but right now, for base times height, we don't need them. So we've got 1/2 times 12 times 4.1. Let's see. 12 times 4.1 is 49.2, and then divide by 2, 24.6. So we've got a base of 20, I already forgot what it was, 24.6. All right, so be good, and height is always nice and easy. It's right there, height good. So volume equals 24.6 times 7, 24.6 times 7, 172.2. So volume equals 172.2. And we're talking inches, so inches cubed. All right, that is the last example I want to work through with you guys, but you're not done. I'd like you to try one on your own, see how it goes. So you've got the examples that you can rewind back and see, but take a minute, pause this video right now, seriously do it, pause your video, and try this problem out, see how it goes, and then when you hit play, I'll have the answer on the screen. So right now, seriously, pause. Okay, you paused, right? Here we go. Let's look at this one here and see how it goes. Let me give you the first lead. Your base should have been 1/2 times 9 times 5.7. So 1/2 times 9 times 5.7. Let's see what I got. 0.5 times 9 times 5.7 is 25.65. And then height is 11, so volume equals this times 11, 282.15. And we're talking feet cubed. So there's my answer. Hopefully it worked out well for you. I think that's it for volume of triangular prisms. If you'd like, feel free to watch over this video again. Try out the first 8 problems on the assignment is what I'd suggest now. Again, submit, resubmit, do it as many times as you want. Feel free to email me with questions. Visit our office hours, 9:30 to 10:30 on Mondays and Wednesdays. If you need anything else, let me know. See you guys later.